people hear slave trade, they think of the Atlantic. But for centuries, another slave trade moved through the Red Sea, and people barely speak about it. Today, we'll be going over the Red Sea slave trade. Early systemization and rising demand. As expanding Arabian Islamic states consolidated power, slavery became embedded in political and economic systems. Agreements like the Becket Treaty required regions south of Egypt to supply enslaved Bantu people. This created a continuous demand that pushed slave raiding deeper into Africa. Enslaved Africans of Bantu descent became part of state, military, and domestic systems. So the Arabs were enslaving the Bantus. The Bible calls them Ishmael. Let's go into the Zondervan Compact Dictionary to prove that. This is the definition of Ishmaelite. The word is apparently used in the Old Testament in a wider sense, referring to the nomadic tribes of northern Arabia. All Arabs, following Muhammad's example, claim descent from Ishmael. Let's go into the Bible to show you how God feels about Ishmael. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 2. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites. So the Bible proves that the Arabs, they are the descendants of Ishmael. They are the enemies of God. They are the ones that were enslaving the Bantu people. Expansion into Bantu regions and inland captures. To meet demand, Arabian merchants used Nilotic tribes to capture and enslave the Bantus. Countries like Sudan, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Kenya, Tanzania, and Mozambique became major sources. Raids, warfare, and kidnappings fed captives into caravan routes. Nilotes moved enslaved Bantu people north toward the Red Sea ports to sell them to the Arabs. Let's go to the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 2, to show you exactly what took place in the Holy Bible. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head. Tyre and Zidon, those are the Nilotes. And all the coast of Palestine, those are your Arabs. They sold the Bantus, who are the Israelites, in the Red Sea slave trade. Death marches to the Red Sea coast. Before even reaching the Red Sea, many endured brutal overland journeys. Captives were bound together and forced to march for weeks or months. Starvation, hydration, and violence were common. Those who fell behind were often left to die or killed. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 65. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and a sorrow of mind. So only the Lord knows the evil, the atrocities, the horror that we went through on our journey to the Red Sea. The Nilotes, the Arabs, They're going to pay for all the evil that they've done to God's people. The Red Sea crossing, ships, confinement, and fear. At coastal ports, enslaved Bantus were loaded onto ships bound for Arabia. They were packed into small vessels, crossing the Red Sea under harsh conditions. Space were cramped, sanitation minimal, and diseases spread quickly. Many experienced extreme fear, disorientation, and trauma during the crossing. In the Bible, it proves that the Arabs had us on slave ships. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So again, the Arabs, the Nilotes, they are our enemies. They sold us. They put us on cargo slave ships, shipped us off, crossing the Red Sea. Distribution across Arabia and beyond. After crossing, enslaved Bantus were dispersed across the Arabian world. Major destinations included Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Iran, India, and as far as China. The Bantus were sold in port markets, then sent inland to cities, farms, and households. Roles included domestic servitude, labor, military service, and concubines. Ezekiel chapter 36 and verse 17. Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman. Wherefore I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries according to the way, and according to the doings I judged them. So because of us breaking the laws of God, not keeping the commandments, it was prophesied that we will be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. One way we were scattered was through the Red Sea slave trade. Extreme exploitation and control. The Arab slave trade system relied on total domination. Women and girls were often subjected to sexual exploitation. Fathers and sons were castrated to serve as eunuchs, often under deadly conditions. Enslaved Bantus were stripped of identity, language, and autonomy. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look, and fail with longing for them all the day long. There shall be no might in thy hand. Our sons and our daughters were given to the Arabs as slaves. Our women and our daughters were raped. Our sons and our fathers were castrated. All this evil took place under the Arabs. Understand that God will bring judgment upon Ishmael and these Nilotes. Lasting impact on Bantu populations. The long-term effects were devastating. Population loss and displacement across East, Central, and West Africa. Cycles of violence fueled by the demand of captives, cultural disruption, and generational trauma. So the Bantu people, you are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. We're going to go to another book that proves, that validates that point, that history, to show who the Bantu people are. The Land of the Heart of the Livingstone, or the Genius of the Bantu. The contention has been made that the extraneous element of the Bantu was derived from the tribes of Israel, which were first carried away to Babylon, as related in the scriptures, and who, afterward, in whole or in part, migrated through Egypt into equatorial Africa, and through mingling with native tribes, upon whom they imposed much of their own religion and customs, gave rise to the people now known as Bantu. So many people know about the children of the West Country, the transatlantic slave trade, but just know the Lord is coming to save you, the Bantu people, the children of the Red Sea slave trade. Let's go to the book of Zechariah, chapter 8 and verse 7. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will save my people from the east country and from the west country, and I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness.